Hi, welcome to EDTE 468. My name is Chaz Hagan and I will be the instructor for this class for the spring semester. As you know, it's all online. You'll be doing the assignments that way. But before we get into that information, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, only because I think it's important that you know where your instructor has a background that could be relative to exactly what you're doing. So I currently am the principal of Southampton Middle School in Bel Air, Maryland. That's the Harford County Public School District. And if you think right away, oh, a middle school principal, what is he doing teaching this class for technical education? Well, this is my 5th year at Southampton. Prior to that, I spent 17 years at Harford Technical High School, 4 as an assistant principal and 13 as principal there. So I have a great deal of knowledge on how the technical high schools work, or tech centers. I have a great knowledge on what it takes to be a teacher, especially in this area. You might talk to some of the folks at your school and they will tell you that about 4 years ago, not only did you have to take these 4 classes, but you had to pass the Praxis 1 exam. And that was a problem for a lot of teachers in that first 2 years taking the classes and passing that test, because many people are coming from an industry where they came right out of high school into the industry and they haven't been in class in 20 years. So it was a very tough thing and we lost a lot of teachers, and I'm not just talking about Harford County, I'm talking about statewide. So part of my background is I was also appointed by Governor Hogan to the Professional Standards Board for Teacher Education. And that's the group that sets the guideline for all teachers, school psychologists, principals, any guidelines on their work, how they do it, what is the expectation, what they need, is all through that group, through that board. And I worked very hard to get that test taken away. So now you only have to take these 4 classes, and believe me, as many teachers as I lost during that time, I'm very thankful that we had the opportunity to do that for you. The turnover is not as substantial as it was. As I said, I was a principal there for 13 years. In addition to my career, I didn't teach technical education, I taught physical education, but working as an administrator for 17 years in a technical high school, and we had 18 different programs, gave me a lot of information, a lot of background that I think is wonderful to share. We won't be sharing that as much because, again, being mostly online. I guess in addition, part of my background is I was also the president of the State Principals Association, which is called Maryland Association of Secondary School Principals, which is all middle, junior high, and high school principals for a year. That's a year term. So I have a great background in administration. Many of folks in your county, I probably know somebody in your county who's an administrator from my work between those 2 things. All right, so let's get to some meat and potatoes, okay? Now that you know me, I want you to bring up a few documents. So in a second, pause, and I'd like you to bring up the EDTE 468 assessments that I sent you in an email. And then in Canvas, I'd like you to bring up the syllabus and the syllabus addendum that is right under, when you get into the class, it's one of the first few things that are down. So once you get those up, then just click back on and go at your own pace. Okay, now that you have the EDTE 468 assessments, and the reason I want to go to this document first is if you look up at the top, it has the information. It gives you my name, it gives you my school email address, it gives you my UMES email address, and you can see the school email address. It says that one I get to very quickly. The UMES address I normally only access when I'm grading or going into that for something specific. But because of my job as the principal here at Southampton Middle School, I'm in that email every day, all the time. So if you want a quick answer, that's the one to use. When in doubt, I would use both. You'll see my cell phone there, 443-910-5969, and Southampton Middle School, 410-638-4150. Don't be afraid to call me if you're having a problem. And when I say don't be afraid to call me, I mean about anything. If you're having a problem getting assignments in, if you're getting backed up, don't be embarrassed and say, oh, he's going to think this. I'm not. Here's what I'm going to think. How can I help you get done so you can pass this class? The essential piece is you get enough information to be able to pass this class and become a professional technical educator. That is the essential piece, okay? I'm not a professor. I don't have a doctorate or anything like that. I'm just somebody who has some knowledge in this area. So if you scan down, it'll talk about weather closings. We don't need any of that. So in the first section of bulleted items, it talks about the assessments, the assignments, and a due date. Class attendance is you doing the work when you can do the work. Even though something is due on this Sunday or next Sunday, you can do the work in any progression that you want. You can do, in the next 3 weeks, you can do all 15 if you'd like. I don't suggest that, but I do suggest trying to stay ahead, because the people that have failed this class have failed for one reason. If you go down to the 5th bullet, students that have failed this class have failed because they did not hand in or complete the work. If you hand it in and complete the work and it's not good, I will tell you, hey, here's where you need to improve that, and I will give you the opportunity to improve that and improve your grade. And I think that's really essential. So as you keep going on that document, if you go down to just session 1 assignment, you'll see things highlighted. In session 2, you'll see things bolded and underlined. In session 2, you'll see the word "and" bolded and underlined, because that assignment is asking for 2 things, and many times people only give 1. I would tape this, print it out, and tape it wherever you're doing your work. If you just look at the assignment in the folder, it's not going to give you as much information, and it's not going to give you the specifics relative to what I believe is important in a certain assignment. So the session 8 is a lesson plan assignment. Again, as you go to 9 and 10, descriptions and examples are underlined and highlighted. Session 10 has underlined and highlighted. So when you get all the way through, there is no session 14 assignment. So there's a 13, and then there's an opportunity to do the assignment, which is 15, which is the last assignment. The last assignment is the longest assignment. It's asking you for 3 or 4 pages of writing. So as you start doing the work, many of the assignments are 30, 50, 40 points. You'll have a few. Let's see, the 5th assignment is 100 points, 8th assignment is 200 points. Everything else is 30, 40, and 50 points. Just do the work. And one thing I will tell you is, give me what I ask for and then move on. So if it says 1 page, don't give me 3. All right, just give me 1 page, look at the pieces, hit the things that you need to hit. As you're doing the assignment, I want you to remember that make sure the work is yours. Not only make sure the work is yours, make sure the work is yours for this course. Plagiarism is in the syllabus addendum. So as from the Division of Academic Affairs, make sure you look through that, because it has the late policy. And I'm very lenient and understanding. If an assignment is due this Sunday and you email me 4 days after that and said I have a problem, I kind of go, why didn't you email me? Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you text me? All right, just communicate. Hey, Chaz, this is going on in our family. I'm not going to be able to get this assignment in on time. And I will tell you, no problem. Let me know when you get it in. All right, I really want to work with you. So in that addendum, it will also talk about plagiarism. And plagiarism is when you are using somebody else's work as your work. Now, one of the things that people forget is it's not plagiarism if you reference it, cite it, and let me know where that information is coming from. Now, that doesn't mean you can take a whole paper from somebody else and say, oh, well, this is from Joe Smith. I cited it. No, that's not the way it works. It's your work, and you use the references and those types of things to accent certain points that you're trying to make. It's also plagiarism if you had a course over the summer or last fall and you go, hey, this is kind of the same topic. I'm just going to, cross out EDTE whatever and put in EDTE 468. That's actually technically plagiarism. You can cite your own work, but you can't submit your own work for 2 different classes, the same thing. All right. And that happens, believe me. it happens, and it happens way too much. It's very easy. We get a safe assign. It comes up and says, this paper is 80% belongs somewhere else. And I'll look at it, and sometimes it's because it's a template. Then that's going to be expected. Sometimes it's there, but you've cited all the sources. That's going to be expected. But it's when you don't cite the sources and the information is there and you have all this information, and I look up and it's somebody else's paper from last fall, or it's out of some book or whatever, some magazine. So go through the assignments, go through the syllabus addendum and the syllabus. I think this is a relatively easy class because, again, I'm not a college professor. If you give me something that is, the writing is substandard, I normally will not lower your grade because of that. What I will do is I will give you a grade and I will say, where you put this, you should try to do it this way. A lot of times with this class, I'll get something that is 1 page long and it's 1 paragraph. You can't do that, all right? Break it up, make sure your concepts, remember, we're looking at the topic and deciding what you want. Put that in that paragraph. The next paragraph, talk about the next piece. The next paragraph, talk about the next piece. We want you to understand that because in some of the other classes, they're going to be very specific with your writing. So I will help you along the way. I'm not here to crush you. I'm not here to make most of the people. If you do the work, you're going to get an A or B. If you do the work, you're going to get an A or B. When you are in the assignment folder, there's a lot of information there. If you start looking at it and you look at the assignment and you look at the objective for that lesson, and the objective for that lesson and the assignment, you go, wait a minute, okay, I understand. And I can do that assignment. Then if I were you, I would stop and do the assignment. And if I have time later and there's some articles or whatever that I haven't read, then I might go back and do that. But if not, there are some, and this course is put together by Dr. Loveland, so there are some folders that have a tremendous amount of information in them. If that's the case, use what you can to understand, do the assignment, and make sure that you've covered in your mind what the objective for that lesson is. Okay? I'm not going to talk any longer, all right? I'm not going to sit here for an hour. If we were together, there would be questions going back and forth, and you can email me the questions, you can text me the questions, and what I will try to do is, if I think it's appropriate, I might put, if over the course of 2 days, I let you guys, after, this weekend, see it, and if I get 4 questions, I might put them all in one email and answer all of them together and send it to everybody. I think that would be the easiest thing. So again, my name is Chaz Hagan. I'm your instructor. I see that we have a lot of folks from Baltimore County, but I see Worcester County. I see, I thought I saw Calvert County and some other counties. This is your group. And I say this is your group because sometimes you might be taking other classes with these same folks. And the other part of that is you might be the only culinary teacher in your district. You might be the only carpentry teacher in your district. And some of the folks that are in your class might not teach that, but they might be able to hook you up with the carpentry teacher at their school who's been there 20 years, who can give you some very specific advice about lessons or whatever. So it's a great way to network and get to know folks that can help you along the way. I want you to have a great time in this class. Again, follow those assignments, follow the information relative to what is expected of you, and hand it in, and you'll be okay. I promise you. All right, I want you to have a great day. All right, bye-bye.